So now we'll just look at a little bit more of a build-out play. We're not always going to be able to win the ball high up the field. We will have to defend on our defensive half, which means when we win the ball back on our defensive half, we'll have to build up from our defensive half into the attacking half. And as we're saying, we don't want to get the ball and just kick it forward as far as we can to three fast forwards. We want to play in a skillful way. We want to play in a way that involves all the positions so that they're all getting touches. They all have to make decisions. They all have to develop in a way that's going to support their desire to keep playing and keep returning year after year because they're having fun because they're involved in the play. All right, so in this scenario, we are starting with the holding midfielder with the ball right here, and they're under a pretty good amount of pressure. All right, so we start with a pass to the wide right forward. Now, some people say that this player is marked. I would agree that they are marked, but I would also agree that they are open, right? If there is a passing lane into someone's feet, then they're open. Yes, they have someone on their back, so they won't be able to turn. That's okay. We need to teach them the skills of being able to shield somebody off and receive the ball under pressure. Once we do that, we can see a pass from here that's just playing the way we face. Right? That's a very kind of key coaching phrase. Can we play the way we face, especially after our first touch? So if this player receives the ball right here, the wide right forward, and their first touch is facing backwards and they can't turn, well, let's just get them to play backwards. And we see here this little movement from the right back, again, underneath in support. So if we can do that fast enough, then we can play another forward pass into the checking center forward. Okay, in this scenario, again, we'll just imagine that this person is marked. They can't turn. They have pressure in their back. So can they take a protective first touch that keeps the defender on their back? And now, again, lay the ball off, playing the way they face, backwards at an angle, into the attacking central midfielder. Right, so now in this space, as we showed in previous ones, we have some options. We've drawn a splitting pass, right? So we see this kind of gap in here between the defenders. This is another reason why in the attack we want these players spread out, especially on this area of the field, to give us width. And this defender, if I were correcting them for a regular game, we don't want them that far wide, right? That's why we keep talking about defenders being more compact. If that defender is right here to begin with, then we don't have a splitting pass between them. But a lot of defenders will start to wander out into this area first because they feel like they always need to be near the attacking player, right? So we have talked a lot now about making sure that's not the case for us, but we want to take advantage of it when it happens for the other opponent. So hopefully by playing the ball on one side and then playing the way we face and finding the middle of the field, we now have splitting options. This attacking central midfielder could also take off on the dribble, and we have this runner getting in. We have the forward from here might be able to get in, and we have the wide forward who might be able to get in as well. And now we're going 4v3 at the opponent's back line after just a few short passes playing the way we face, right? And now we can penetrate in a very dangerous way. But if you see this moving up here, we have 6 different field players in possession helping us move forward instead of just this one player trying to get a little bit of space and kick the ball far up the field and chase, right? So the skillful, quick decisions, movement and support, reading the play in a way that really engages the player's perception, meaning they're seeing what's going on the field, engaging their decision-making process. After they see what's happening on the field, can they make a decision, and then executing that decision. And that's what we're talking about, in a way that's talking about long-term player development, all 3 of those aspects of things. So that is scenario 1 on the defensive half, and then we'll move over here to the second scenario. Kind of common scenario, right? So imagine that the center back is moving back towards their own goalkeeper. Maybe the opponents have played a through ball, and the center back right here on the ball has beat the other forward, beat the opponent to the ball, and now they're facing their own goal, facing their own goalkeeper, running back at it in a way that might put them under pressure. All right, so the most obvious back pass here is a back pass to the goalkeeper, which we want to very much encourage. The goalkeeper is part of play. We know they wear big gloves and funny jerseys, but if they're the most open player on the field, then they're the person we're going to pass the ball to, especially in this situation. A square ball across here, right? An initial pass over here or over here. If that pass happens, they're very easily intercepted by one of the opposing forwards, and now we're talking about giving the other team a breakaway, which no matter how long you've been coaching, you can probably figure out is not something that we want to do, right? So the easiest pass here is the safest pass, is one back to our goalkeeper as we go about doing this. The goalkeeper has to want the ball at their feet. The teammates have to know that they can the goalkeeper is an option. The coach has to encourage it. All these things will involve the goalkeeper wanting to be in the play. All right, so once the goalkeeper gets the pass, receives the ball, as that's happening, we've got our outside backs moving into wide support. We have the center back continuing to drop, and now because the outside backs have pulled wide, we have a few different options here, right? We can play any of the backs depending on how the opponent defends them. If they chase after them, then there'll be very big gaps to play through, and maybe we can find a midfielder. If it's always okay for the goalkeeper to play a longer pass out to any of the forwards if they have the capability to do that, but trying to encourage building out of the back and playing people's feet here. If they can play a good accurate ball into one of the forwards, that's obviously fine. It's possible that these defenders here stop chasing and just kind of move compact, and then we can maybe more slowly build out to the outside players. But again, that goes to the goalkeeper now, as well as everybody else, having a perception of the field, seeing the field, where are my options, before they receive the ball, then making a decision about what that best option is. So in this part of the field, it's a safe pass. It's one that the vast majority of the time is going to help us keep possession, and if we're under too much pressure and we can't keep possession, then we're going to try and put the ball into a safe place. But that is the last resort, right? We are going to try and keep the ball first. So the goalkeeper in practice has to be comfortable making good passes, just like every field player has to as well, right? So we perceive our options, both outside back, center back, central midfielders. What are our options? We make a decision on what the most open pass is that allows us to keep possession, and then we execute it. Right, so those are the kind of common scenarios, whether we're playing 4v4 or 11v11. Those are the things that we have to see, and they all happen together, right? So we have to train them in a way that always allows our players to see the field, make a decision, and execute the decision. And I can promise you that they'll make mistakes. If you watch pro games, they make mistakes in there. It happens, but we have to encourage them to just move on past the mistakes as they happen. It's going to be okay. Short term, these things won't matter, but long term, they'll improve, they'll get better on it. And we just have to tell them to pick their heads up and move on as we go through. Right, so those are our different scenarios on the attacking half and on the defensive half, and how we're going to support and make quality decisions and execute those decisions. So moving on from there, we will now take this into the 11v11 transition.